Hey traders, welcome to Master the Market, where we help you become a market master. In today's video, I've had a ton of requests for this topic. We're going to be talking about how to use day trading scanners in order to find and execute high probability trade setups. These are the scanners that we're going to be going over today in this video. I'm going to be explaining how I use each and every single one of them. These scanners from Trade Ideas are live streamed to our team of traders in the Market Master group every single day with no delay. So if you're interested in accessing these scans as well, make sure to come join us in the Market Master group. If you use the link down below in the description, today in honor of Juneteenth, there's going to actually be a 19% discount that's automatically going to be applied to your subscription. Okay, so with all of that being said, let's go ahead and start off with this upper left-hand corner. These are going to be the top movers for the day. So on the far left side, we have the gap up section, we have the gap down section, and these are of course going to tell us which stocks are moving both to the upside and to the downside in the pre-market hours. These are going to be stocks gapping up from their previous day's close. Most of the time there's going to be some kind of news or catalyst that is associated with a large gap up or a large gap down, but regardless, these stocks are going to be great candidates for a gap and go once the market opens. So I will pay attention to these in the pre-market session. And what I actually do for our team of traders is put together a list of the top 5 gap and go candidates from this gap up list. And as we can see over here at the market open, what I'll do is I'll put together that list along with their opening range breakout level. And then we have a customized bot within our chat that's going to actually notify us when one of those stocks starts to move above its breakout level. So we can see on this day, BRTX had an opening range breakout level of $2.17. And a few minutes later, it started to push above that level. Our opening range breakout bot here in the Market Master group chat notified us that it broke above $2.17. And from there, it ended up having a nice spike to the upside, which provided a really solid gap and go trade opportunity. So as far as the gappers, that's kind of the main way that I like to trade these setups. And after the market opens and those opening range breakout candidates kind of fade off, I don't pay much more attention to the gap up and gap down scanners for the rest of the trading day. Now in the same breath, we also have the opening range breakout scanner itself. This is going to notify us of any opening range breakouts on the 1-minute time frame, the 5-minute time frame, and the 15-minute time frame, even if they're not gapping up from the previous day's closing price. So this is going to give us slightly more candidates for the opening range breakout. And because this is one of the main strategies that we trade in the Market Master group, it's a really great scanner to pay attention to, especially within the first 30 minutes or so of the market open. And even if it is a slow day and you don't get any big gap and go setups, there are going to be opportunities here in this opening range breakout scanner to still quickly scalp 5 to 10% once these stocks begin breaking out above their opening range breakout level. Okay, now aside from opening range breakouts, we're also going to have the top percent losers and the top percent gainers. These are very similar, of course, to the largest gappers. The only difference here is that these are going to be the largest percent changes from the previous day's closing price, and it doesn't matter whether or not they have any gap up within that pre-market session. Every once in a while, I will skim through these top percent lists and find a trade setup, but for the most part, these are kind of just going to be a reference point to see which stocks are having the most volatility for the day. And speaking of volatility, that's going to lead us to the halt resume scanner. This is going to notify us whenever a stock is getting halted by the SEC. Most of the time, as we can see by skimming through today's results, we're going to see that these stocks are halted because of volatility. If a stock is moving too quickly and has too much volatility, it can get halted by the SEC. That halt is usually going to last 5 minutes. However, it can last 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and so on and so forth. And the reason that it can be useful to find these setups is because a lot of times we'll see a stock have a very quick spike to the upside, and because of that high volatility spike to the upside, that will be the reason that it ends up getting halted for volatility. So then once that 5-minute halt is over, there's going to be a lot of traders watching this stock and looking for an opportunity to buy into it since it just had such a quick spike to the upside. And many times once that trading is resumed, we'll see these stocks continue from that halt and spike even higher. So for example, if we take a look at NITO, at 10:20 this was halted for volatility at a price of $1.06. And then 5 minutes later, as trading resumed, it actually opened at $1.20. So it gapped up from that halt from volatility just because there were so many traders that were watching and waiting for that halt to be over so that they can buy into this stock with so much upside momentum. So many times when a stock is spiking to the upside and gets halted for volatility, I will look for a potential quick scalp once that trading resumes. Obviously, it's going to be a little different from setup to setup, but that might be a scalp on a breakout to new highs, or that scalp might be from waiting for a pullback. All right, so all of that being said, that's how I use kind of these left side of the screen scanners. If we take a look over here more towards the right side and focus on the high relative volume scanner, this is simply going to find all of the stocks that are trading high relative volume for the day when compared to their average volume over the previous 30 days. So a lot of times you're going to see a lot of similarities between the top percent gainers, the top percent losers, and the high relative volume scan, because these stocks that are having such a large gain to the upside or to the downside are going to usually have a larger amount of volume than they would on any given average day. So I don't necessarily use the high relative volume scan for trades themselves. However, I do like to kind of cross-reference. And what I mean by that is if we see a stock that's hitting the intraday momentum scan, this is simply looking for stocks that are breaking out to a new high of day. And if I see that and also see the same stock hitting the high relative volume scan, that's going to tell me that this breakout to a new high is going to be a better candidate for a confirmed breakout, since there is also high relative volume being associated with that breakout to new highs. That's kind of my thought process behind pairing different scanners to the high relative volume scanner. But regardless, if you're a scalp trader, all you really need is high relative volume and a decent amount of volatility. So you can probably find some quick opportunities to scalp these stocks as they're reaching their high of day or as they're pulling back into their lows, depending on what trading strategy you're using, all because of the fact that they do have high relative volume. Okay, so now if we shift our focus to intraday momentum, aside from pairing it with the high relative volume, one of the columns that I want to recommend paying close attention to is the change within the past 5 minutes. This is going to tell you, of course, how much did this stock move within the past 5 minutes. We know that it's breaking out to a new high of day, but has it gone up 1% over the past 5 minutes, 10% over the past 5 minutes, 20%, whatever it may be, that can tell you how much volatility this stock has, how much volume might be coming into this, how much demand, and how strong is that breakout potentially going to be. So for example, we saw about 10 minutes ago, MBIO at a price of 40 cents was breaking out to a new high of day, but over the past 5 minutes, it went up 18% before that high of day breakout happened. So that personally tells me that although this could potentially be a big breakout that's happening, there's a good chance that since it already went up 18% into that high of day breakout within just a 5-minute time frame, most of the move might have already happened before that high of day breakout happened. So there's going to be, in my opinion, probably a higher percent chance of this becoming a false breakout than it would be a confirmed breakout. So I would be less interested in buying into this high of day breakout because of that large move that already happened. Okay, so moving on to Fibonacci dip buys. This is going to tell us when there is a stock that had a strong move to the upside, but is now pulling back into its Fibonacci retracement levels. Those Fibonacci retracement levels are going to be 38%, 50%, and 62%. And a lot of times, these are going to be the areas where you can find a really solid opportunity to buy into that dip or buy into that pullback, and then capitalize on the stock reversing back towards its highs. I personally don't use Fibonacci for a ton of trading, but this is a very powerful scanner for those that are interested in Fibonacci, and I have definitely found some really good pullback opportunities just by looking at this scanner throughout the day. The next scanner that I want to cover is one that I've been using a ton lately in my trading. This scanner, the parabolic scanner, is going to look for stocks that are spiking very quickly to the upside and that have a ton of upside momentum in a very short period of time. These, in my opinion, are going to be better for short selling opportunities. The reason for that is because more often than not, these stocks are going to end up pulling back or reversing entirely into a downtrend. Really, it just boils down to timing the short. You don't want to blindly short sell into these stocks that have that parabolic momentum, but if you're confident in your price reading skills and you're able to read the tape and look for a bearish reversal indicator of some sort, then you can find some really great opportunities to short sell into these parabolic moves and then capitalize on that reversal to the downside. So for example, we recently saw that NBY was starting to hit the parabolic scanner. It began hitting at a price of $2.94 here. all the way up to $3.14. And if we take a look here at the intraday chart, from 294 to 314 was this range up in here. So short selling somewhere up into that range would have been a profitable trade, as it since has fallen all the way down to a low of $2.67. So although you can also find some opportunities to trade with the upside momentum, personally the way that I have been attacking the stocks on the parabolic scanner is to wait for some kind of bearish reversal setup and then short sell for that pullback. All right, moving over to the overbought/oversold scanner. This is going to look for stocks that are becoming overbought or oversold in terms of their RSI or their relative strength index on the 5-minute time frame. A stock becomes overbought when its RSI is at 70 or higher, and oversold when its RSI is at 30 or lower. And many times these extreme moves to the upside or to the downside that cause the RSI to become overbought or oversold are going to lead to some really great reversal trade setups. So that's kind of what I'm paying attention to in terms of this scanner. I would like to see that as the stock is becoming oversold, we have some high relative volume coming in. That would tell me that maybe there is some seller exhaustion going on and the stock might be setting up better for a bounce to the upside or a complete reversal into an uptrend. And the same is going to be true for a stock that's becoming overbought if I happen to be looking for an opportunity to short sell. Okay, and the last one here is going to be the crossing VWAP scanner. This is going to notify us when stock is crossing either above the VWAP or below the VWAP. And the way that I use this scanner is I will mostly pay attention to this a little bit later in the morning. So the market opens here at 9:30 a.m. Anywhere from about 10:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. I might be paying close attention to this crossing VWAP scanner. And what I'm looking for is some of the earlier morning movers that are starting to cross back above their VWAP. Many times we'll see these stocks have a big spike up or a big run at the market open. They might be a really solid gap and go candidate, or they might be a big opening range breakout. And then for the next 30 minutes or for the next hour, they might consolidate and pull back right around the VWAP. So if they're able to then later in the morning start to reclaim the VWAP and move back above the VWAP, that's going to be a bullish sign that tells me momentum is picking back up. And many times from there, we will see the stocks push back up into their morning highs and even potentially squeeze to a new high of day. So you can keep either a mental note or a physical written down note of the stocks that were moving in the earlier session of the morning, right around the market open, and then look for those stocks here on the crossing VWAP scanner later in the morning or later in the afternoon for a potential trade back up to the highs. Okay, so that is kind of the basis of how I use every single one of these scanners here. A quick reminder that these are live streamed to our team of traders every single day with no delay right here in our chat. So if you're interested in accessing these scans and working with our team of traders, as well as getting access to our day trade and swing trade alerts, our detailed trade plans, and all of the powerful tools that are built into our chat, all of that can be found in the Market Master group. And we're currently running a 19% off subscription sale in honor of Juneteenth. So make sure to sign up using that link down below in the description. Anyway, thank you for checking out this video. I hope you enjoyed, and good luck with your trading.